So, you're selling your home in 2026, and at some point during the listing appointment, your agent is going to ask you one specific question. It sounds innocent. It sounds like small talk. It is not small talk. It's a trap, and it's carefully designed to work whether you answer high or low, because both answers cost you real money. I've been in this industry a long time, and the agents who ask this question first, before they show you a single comparable sale, before they pull up a single piece of data, they're not doing it by accident. So save this video right now, because I'm going to tell you exactly what the question is, what the right words are to say instead, and the 5 things you need to negotiate before you sign anything. 1 question, 2 outcomes, both of them bad for you. Let's go. Okay, so what's the question? It sounds something like this. So, what do you think your home is worth? Or, what number did you have in mind? Or, what's the minimum you'd accept? Any version of that asked before the agent has shown you a single comparable sale, a pending listing, or any actual market data. That's the trap. And here's why it works. Because there are 2 outcomes, and both of them cost you. Outcome 1. You name a number that's too high. The agent agrees with it. Not because the market supports it, but because agreeing with you is how they win your signature on the listing agreement. There's an industry term for this, and it's called buying the listing. The agent tells you what you want to hear, gets the contract signed, puts the sign in the yard, and then comes back 2 to 3 weeks later saying the market isn't responding and they need to talk about a price reduction. They were never going to sell it at that number. They just needed to be the one standing in your living room when you signed. Outcome 2. You name a number that's too low. Now the agent knows your floor. And here's why that matters. Anchoring bias, a cognitive phenomenon documented by Daniel Kahneman, means the first number named in any negotiation disproportionately pulls every number that follows. If an offer comes in near your stated bottom, your agent can use your own words to push you toward accepting it, even when the market might have delivered more. Here's the thing most sellers don't realize. The agent who brings the most flattering number wins the listing. Not the most accurate one, the flattering one. And that's by design. Let's talk about what happens after you sign. Okay, so here's what buying the listing looks like in practice because I want you to understand this mechanic before you sit down with anyone. The agent agrees with your inflated number, gets the exclusive listing agreement signed, puts the sign in the yard, and then they wait. No showings, or not enough. And in 2 to 3 weeks, they come back with a conversation that sounds sympathetic. The market is slow. Buyers are cautious. We may need to adjust the price. SoldNest put it plainly in March of 2026. Once the listing agreement is signed, the chance a seller fires their agent is slim. Agents know this. The contract is the protection. The price is just the bait. And here's what the price reduction actually costs you in real numbers. Redfin's February 2026 data found that 34.2% of sellers who ultimately closed had reduced their asking price, the highest February share since 2012. Among those who cut, the average reduction was 7.3%, roughly $40,915. $40,915, not a rounding error. That's the gap between being told what you wanted to hear and being sold at what the market would actually bear. And it costs you time too. Housing Wire's Spring 2026 market tracker found that well-priced homes sold in an average of 63 days. Overpriced homes averaged 121 days, a 58-day gap. So I want you to really hear this. The price reduction is not a market problem. It was the plan. The listing was always going to come down. The agent just needed to be standing at your door first. Next, the contract they want you to sign right now. Okay, so the listing agreement. This is the document most sellers sign without reading, and it's the very document that makes everything else in this situation possible. Standard exclusive right-to-sell contracts run 3 to 6 months. Once you sign, you are contractually bound to that agent for that entire period, whether they perform or not. Many contracts contain no clean cancellation clause, or they contain one with a penalty, often $500 or more, plus reimbursement for whatever marketing costs the agent claims to have incurred. And here's the part that trips up sellers even after the contract has already expired. The holdover clause, also called the protection period. If a buyer the agent introduced during the contract term later purchases the home, even months after the contract has ended and you've moved on, you still owe the full commission. You can be contractually on the hook to an agent you've already walked away from. So here's what I want you to negotiate. 5 things, numbered, before you sign anything. Number 1, the contract length. Start at 60 to 90 days, not the default 3 to 6 months. A good agent doesn't need 6 months to prove themselves. Push for 60 days. Number 2, a written cancellation clause with no penalty, or a clearly capped penalty if they push back on that. Either way, get it in writing, not verbal. Number 3, cap the holdover period at 30 to 90 days with a named specific list of protected buyers attached. That list should be short and clearly defined, not an open-ended claim that anyone they ever mentioned the property to counts. Number 4, confirm the full commission structure in writing, including exactly what happens with buyer-agent compensation under the post-NAR settlement terms. Don't assume. Get it on paper. Number 5, ask how many dual agency transactions this particular agent has closed in the past 12 months. Ask directly, not hypothetically. You want an actual number. Why that number matters is coming up next. These 5 asks cost you absolutely nothing up front, and they change every single negotiation that comes after. Okay, so the NAR settlement. This is the one everyone heard about and most people got completely wrong, including most of the coverage. Here are the facts. In March 2024, the National Association of Realtors settled an antitrust lawsuit for $418 million. Effective August 17, 2024, 2 core practice changes took effect. First, listing agents can no longer post buyer-agent compensation in the MLS. Second, buyer agents must have a signed written representation agreement before showing homes to anyone. What changed? Buyer agent compensation is now negotiated separately, directly between the buyer and their agent. Sellers may still choose to cover it, but the offer has to happen off the MLS through direct broker communication, written offer terms, or seller disclosure. Now here's the correction I need to make on camera because you probably heard that the settlement was going to bring commissions down. It didn't. Clever Real Estate surveyed 533 agents in February 2026. Total average commission in 2026 is 5.70%. That's up from 5.44% in 2025. Buyer agent fees specifically went up from 2.58% in 2024 to 2.82% in 2026. On a median home right now, total commission runs roughly $20,000 to $23,000 out of the seller's pocket. Nothing about that number got smaller after the settlement. And here's the part nobody is talking about. The settlement may actually be increasing dual agency risk, because some buyers, especially first-timers, are now avoiding the cost of their own agent entirely. And when a buyer doesn't bring their own agent, they work directly with yours. What that means for you is coming up next. Okay, dual agency. This is the conflict that most sellers don't see coming because the agent sitting across from them looks like their agent. Here's what dual agency means. One agent representing both the buyer and the seller in the same transaction, collecting commission from both sides. And yes, in most states, it's legal. A handful of states ban or restrict it, but in the majority, it's permitted with disclosure. Now here's the math on what it actually costs. Zillow analyzed over 15 million transactions and published their findings in May 2026. Sellers in dual agency deals lost a combined $1.49 billion over 3 years. The estimated loss per home, approximately $2,165. 5% of all U.S. real estate transactions involve dual agents, and it's not distributed evenly at all. California sellers lost an estimated $533 million in that period. Florida sellers, $217 million. Now here's the mechanism, and I need you to really understand this clearly because it's not about dishonest agents. This is a structural problem, not a character problem, and that distinction matters. Your agent is legally supposed to get you the highest possible price. The buyer's agent is legally supposed to get the buyer the lowest possible price. One agent cannot do both simultaneously. The conflict is structurally built in, regardless of intentions. So ask the question I told you to ask in Section 3. How many dual agency transactions has this agent closed in the past 12 months? SoldNest recommends treating anything above 10% of their total transactions as a deal breaker. That number tells you something about how they operate. And this problem is actually getting worse in 2026, not better. 2 more tactics coming up next. Okay, 2 more tactics, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what to do instead. Tactic 1. Phantom buyers and fabricated offers. SoldNest reported in March 2026 that listing agents sometimes falsely tell a seller there are other interested buyers or even other active offers when there are absolutely none. The goal is artificial urgency. When you believe you have real competition, you make faster decisions. You accept the first real offer that arrives with less pushback. You stop asking the questions you should be asking. One documented case cited by a Miami luxury agent involved a property listed above $10 million. The listing agent claimed to have 2 serious buyers. Neither buyer was real. Both offers were fabricated. Urgency was manufactured to control the seller's timeline. So if you're ever told there are other offers, you are allowed to ask for proof. Ask in writing. Ask for confirmation through your own attorney if the number is significant. Don't let manufactured urgency compress your decision. Tactic 2. Off-market and pocket listings specifically. The agent keeps the listing off the MLS entirely and sells to a buyer they also represent or to an investor they have an existing relationship with. Less exposure. No competing buyers. No competing offers. Zillow's May 2026 analysis found that sellers who listed privately lost nearly $1.36 billion over 3 years. Off-MLS listings sometimes deliver 20 to 40% below what full MLS exposure would have produced. What does going off-market actually replace? It replaces competitive offers, bidding dynamics, and maximum price discovery. And it does so quietly, while your agent tells you it's a faster, smoother process. So here's what to do instead. At the listing appointment and on pricing. That's exactly what's coming up next. Okay, so here's exactly what you actually do. At the listing appointment, before anyone talks about price. Do not name a number first. Not what you think it's worth. Not what you need to net. Not what you'd accept as a floor. Nothing. Let them present their data first. Instead, ask this one question. How do you determine the right listing price? The how matters more than the number. An agent who walks you through comparable sales, pending contracts, and active inventory is doing their job. An agent who immediately validates whatever you're hoping to hear is buying the listing. Demand a full CMA before discussing any number. Recent sales, pending sales, active competition, days on market, price reduction rates in your area. Ask for a seller net sheet before you sign anything. That document shows you commission, estimated closing costs, and your actual projected proceeds, not the gross sale price. The net. On pricing strategy, know this: the first 14 to 21 days are everything. That's when buyer attention is highest. NAR's June 2026. Realtors' Confidence Index found only 21% of properties sold above list price in this market. Housing Wire confirmed it: 63 days for well-priced homes versus 121 days for overpriced ones. In 2026's market, strategic pricing from day one beats starting high and reducing every single time. The agent who tells you exactly what you want to hear is simply not the agent who will get you what you want. Okay, you stayed through the contract mechanics, the commission math, and the dual agency numbers. And that matters because most sellers walk into a listing appointment knowing none of this. So here's the refrain. The question before the data is the trap. The agent who validates your number before they've shown you a single sale is not protecting you. The system rewards flattery. You now know that. This isn't about every agent being dishonest. It's about a structure that creates bad incentives and knowing which questions cut through it. So go into your next listing appointment with those 5 contract asks written down. Don't name a number first. Demand the CMA before the conversation goes anywhere near price. Like, subscribe and I see you in the next one.